Money gets offered.
Yes. What? Once she's not getting money from you anymore, they can say negative things. So basically you pay people to say nice things about you. Nice life, asshole.
To people, and some people change. But I will say that,
and some people change.
That list that are not taking money, that decided that they're not
for the most part, they are. You know, Barr did a book. Barr was a coward.
Barr did a book.
Name people that you name. For every person you name, I can name 20 people that.
Oh, now it's 20. Well, look at that. Man, it must be dark and moist wherever they're doing this interview because the shit is multiplying.
Loved the administration.
Like Kash Patel? How many times are you going to say Kash Patel?
And maybe more importantly, the voters love the administration. The voters are dying to get back to it, Brett. The voters are tired of being laughed at all over the world.
Well, no. Your voters are just going to have to get used to that.
We're run by a fool. We're run by a man that doesn't have a clue.
I want to talk about foreign policy, but just to leave this, you have former senior advisor Steve Cortes saying it's going to be tough for you to get the best and the brightest because of some of the name-calling of people who left.
Well,
so what do you say to that?
Cortes is a nice person, but I didn't give him the job he wanted because I didn't think he was qualified. Then he went over to the Sanctimonious's camp. I didn't give him the job. So I'd probably say the same kind of thing if I wouldn't get a job, if somebody wants a job. And a lot of the people that you mentioned there, they didn't get the job. A couple of them weren't made permanent. I didn't want to make them permanent because I didn't think they were good enough. Now, during the course of that...
Again, is it striking anybody besides me at this moment that this just sounds like a bunch of apprentice bullshit? That in the middle of a functioning government, the most important government of the most important country on the planet, according to everybody who voted for him and everybody who voted against him. And this asshole wants to treat the entire endeavor like it's some, like, backbiting bullshit BTS footage from The Apprentice. Is it too much to ask that adults fucking deal with adult issues? What kind of Real Housewives of the Oval Office horseshit is this? It'd be one thing if a president had one scandal of people who just didn't get along, and yet they were both necessary, and they had different areas, and they pushed back against it. That's been around forever. That's in every organization. You can't avoid it or whatever. But everybody.
4 years, I know the best people.
Like who? If you can name 20, name one.
Remember this. We took out ISIS. We developed Space Force. I rebuilt the military.
Yeah, that's it.
I've been involved in the 2 greatest scams in American history.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges.
I got the largest tax cuts in history. I got the largest regulation cuts in history. I did right to try so that people don't have to die without a chance. We could use space-age medical...
Space Force technology. Med beds. Where are the med beds? The QAnons want to know.
Knowledge, and we have the greatest labs in the world. I did all of these things and much, much more. Nobody's ever seen it like that. One other thing.
Yeah.
Russia would have never invaded Ukraine.
Shit.
China would never be talking about
most for the second part.
We all just know.
The part that jumped out was this coming back right here. Hold on.
an answer. It's hurt me in negotiations on the term.
We saw this part
about it. You'll find very few discussions about it. And for 4 years, Russia never even thought about it because Putin and I had a very good relationship, business relationship. But
yeah, that was the concern instead of a public service relationship.
But I got along with him and he got along with me despite the phony Russia witch hunt, which made it much more difficult. Having that phony Adam Schiff, Hillary Clinton witch hunt for 2.5 years going on made it much more difficult despite.
Why? 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 If it's all fake and he and Putin knows it and you know it, then it would just be political noise on the side. The only reason it would hang things up is if you are trying to do things with Putin that go against the will of the voters in the United States or the general attitude of the Congress, and that seemed to be the case.
That he knew he could not go into Ukraine. I told him very strongly, you can't do it. And if you do it, it's going to be a problem. And he never did.
I want to talk about Ukraine, but
they were there, stupid.
Just to end on China, this weekend, President Biden, speaking of that Chinese spy balloon, said this.
I think it was more embarrassing than it was intentional.
What do you think about that?
I think it's such a stupid
What would you have
thing.
done?
He doesn't know what he's. They wouldn't have ever had a spy balloon if I was president.
There were several of them while he was president.
There wouldn't be a spy balloon over our country. That spy balloon was going right over our nuclear sites, taking pictures. And we killed it after it was leaving. It was going back home to China, wherever it was.
It was going back home to China, you know, via the Atlantic. Go long way.
Going. But we shot it down over the ocean after it had done all of its work. You know, they don't keep it on the balloon and then you pick it up. That stuff is sent back to China.
Transmitted would be the word, but yeah, you know, if you got a child's vocabulary.
Instantaneously as it's taken.
How about this? What if, how do they know what they were getting was real? How do they know we weren't intercepting the signal from it and sending what we wanted them to see? That's what I'd do. I'd go intercept it, filter the information, delay it, make them think it's because we blocked it for a short time, and then start sending them bullshit. Send them pictures of weird stuff, like mess with the topography, all that stuff. Just run it across all the guys. Gather a group together. How can we make them think like every valley's a hill and every hill's a valley?
So a statement like that is so stupid. They've taken pictures of every one of our nuclear facilities in the Midwest, where we have a lot, where they know better than anybody that we have a lot.
And you're saying that
Better than anybody that we have a lot, because I told them.
wouldn't happen under you.
They wouldn't have ever done it. No, they wouldn't have ever done it. No, President Xi and I had a very strong relationship, just like I did with Kim Jong.
They wouldn't send a balloon. They would send a pandemic, sure. But I was busy. I gave the farmers $28 billion, and in exchange, they got hundreds of thousands of dead Americans. It was a trade.
Of North Korea. Look, when I took office, everyone assumed we were going to war with North Korea, including.
Yeah, this is the same shit all the time. I'm done. It's the same prattle. Fucking hell. By the way, you're watching Housemarks Mega Worldwide. I'm up and running right now. You know, that's the good part. But you folks are lovely. Hold on one second, if I may. Let me jump this in here. Move this over here, and then say hi to you guys. Hi. It's like he uses these things, and you know, the irony is that a lot of politicians use interviews to kind of dovetail the conversation into their kind of standard stump speech stuff. And there's nothing about him that's spectacular in that regard. It's the irony is that I think a lot of these idiots think that that somehow he's not a politician or whatever. And it's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing that all politicians have done forever. And yet somehow it goes through some sort of dipshit translator in people's foreheads that vote for him. It's fascinating to me.